Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. Welcome along to Inter Worldwide. It is time for another match preview. Excuse my tardiness and excuse me, I've just got that playing in the background, but all good. My friend Mo is with me for this match preview in a match where Inter needs to get 3 points. So we are going to dissect everything that is going on approaching the tough fixture against Sassuolo. Mo, how are you, my friend, and how are you feeling as an Inter fan going into this one?
Pretty good. I always feel good about Inter and going to games in Serie A. We haven't lost yet, and maybe not the Champions League, maybe Serie A, where we're gonna perform good this time.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope so. Like the 3 points are definitely needed, and because of this, I think that we'll go in with the mentality that we're going to have to go for the jugular. That meaning that we can't play conservative football so soon into the game as we were playing in the Champions League and the fixture before that. So I'm really looking forward to it, and let's see what's going on in the comments before we get started. 100% must win, as Akil is saying. Christian says, yo, finally catching you guys live. Well, welcome, man. If this is your first time joining the live stream, benvenuti to you. I've literally had two of the boys just join me right now. I know one of them's up for it. Christian Rivas, what's going on, amigo? It's good to see you.
What's up, dude? My bad. I just got out of work.
Yeah, sweet. I don't know if you're down for this, Bruno, or if you're just stopping in to lurk, man. Are you good or what?
I'm good. I'm always good. It's been a good day in New South Wales, mate.
Yeah. I didn't know what you were up to. All right, so we're joined by four of us here, and there's 9 people watching. So make sure you smash a like, share the video around, and let us know in the comments where you're watching from and how you're feeling. We're talking Sassuolo, and because it's 4 of us, I guess we won't bag on too much about the housekeeping. But while I've got a couple of people here that haven't spoken on the channel since, I'll go over to Christian first. Christian, your reaction to Shakhtar Donetsk, man, 0-0 for the 3rd time in a row. Not that great.
I mean, they all look tired to me. The calendar's too congested, bro. Nobody looked good. Madrid didn't look good. Barca didn't look good. A lot of these big teams who have a lot of international players, they all look like they look terrible.
Yeah. Would you say that the next game against Sheriff is now a must-win, get 3 points, and just carry on from there? And are you still optimistic about the group as a whole?
Yeah, it's still early.
Yeah,
it's
very early.
It's only 2 games.
Yeah, fair enough. It's just that without that sort of energy, I'm hoping that the boys are going to bring something different to Sassuolo this week. And I'll go over to Mo next. In terms of approaching Sassuolo coming off a bad 0-0 against Shakhtar Donetsk, how are you feeling going into this, man, after the sort of topsy-turvy last couple of games Inter have had?
I don't want to talk about Shakhtar. I just want to talk about a couple of facts that Sassuolo is not actually in a great form. Yes, they won against Salernitano, but I don't think they are in a great form. They lost the 3 games before. And I think Inter is coming to the game with the stronger squad. Everything should be okay for this game. However, all I want to say about Inter this season is that it is really strange for us that we are creating a lot of chances. I think we are the number 1 in big chances creating in the league, and we are scoring a lot. But I think we're still missing a lot of chances that we should have killed a game. Like the Atalanta game, we allowed chances, but also we created some chances in the first half, and we could have been up. Our position is the 9th in the league, and this is something that I'm not used to in the last 2 years. We're 9th in the league in terms of ball position inside the games, which is not great, while Sassuolo are 4th, and that tells you that this game might not go our way from the first minute, and we might have to play counter-attack, and I think we are very suited to play counter-attack in football.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's go over to Bruno. How are you feeling going into Sassuolo, man? It's a game where we're going to travel, but we definitely need 3 points.
Look, firstly, Christian, my man, it's been a long time between drinks, hasn't it? We need to see you more often, mate. But, yeah, look, I think it's Jonathan controlling Twitch for Football Worldwide at the moment, but he said it here. We've gone from playing De Zerbi to playing his former team. And we're looking at a Sassuolo who doesn't matter if they're not in form at the moment, but the issue I see is they are a bogey to Inter, and they have been in the past. And all right, last season it's a different story, but when you go into these games, sometimes the mind game can that starts being played in your head prior to the fixture can play a bigger part. And I just think Inter just need to go into this fixture with a clear mindset, because man for man, we're 10 times better. But man for man against a lot of the teams. Even Shatka were better, but you're not facing, the Shatka. You're not facing these teams based man for man. It's not a game that's won on paper, and we've seen it too often. Overall, you got to also look. This is the last fixture before international break, so I look at it like this: a negative result in my eyes is a draw if we don't get the 3 points, but we've also got the ability to hit that reset button in 2 weeks' time when we do return to the Serie A, and we can restart, because you know what, Juventus, they've got momentum, but that momentum's about to get cut short real quick. So this international break will be a good chance for Inter to just reset and then come back on the other side. I think we've got Lazio, Juventus, and AC Milan in the space of 4 or 5 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Those are the fixtures we need 3 points. And it's always good to get them against Sassuolo.
Yeah, fair enough. Christian, going into Sassuolo, how are you feeling, man? Are you confident? And are there any initial changes to the starting lineup? How do you think we should approach this game, man?
I would put Perisic to start.
Mm-hmm.
DeMarco's not good enough.
Why not?
Seeing what he did in the last match, he just didn't look there. He needs to sit back and go back in training and do some work. He looks slow. His defensive liability, you can't have him and Dumfries on at the same time. We were getting killed on the wings. It just didn't work. So you're going to either put Dumfries, who you brought in specifically to replace Hakimi, or DeMarco, who was supposed to be Perisic's bench player. So that's just me. I would start Perisic with Dumfries. DeMarco just looked terrible last game. He was literally probably the worst player on the pitch. This has nothing to do with that penalty, but maybe it's a mental thing for him right now, because the first 2-3 games he looked good, but now he doesn't look that good. He looks like a player that literally was just on loan to Verona.
What about
that's a great analysis. And I think let's go back 12 months. If this was the team Antonio Conte had, we wouldn't even be seeing DeMarco on the field at all.
Nope.
And I think that's where we got to start setting our benchmark.
Yeah, fair enough.
Perisic, when he came on in the 80th minute around then, you started seeing us get our best chances in the game. Before then, we were almost non-existent. Yeah. Say what you want. From what I saw, that was the big difference maker between the two of them. It wasn't even close. I don't know what's up with DeMarco, but it is what it is. Nobody's going to like what I have to say, but I'm just going to tell you what it is. He did not look good at all. He looked very bad.
The thing is, it's easy to say that a player looks good when they come on for the last 20 minutes, though, because a lot of the time when Perisic starts and DeMarco comes in, he's the one that looks like the positive influence. But go for it,
Not
Christian.
necessarily, because if you look in the last game, DeMarco came in for Bastoni. He didn't come in for Perisic. Perisic played all the way up to the end, and then he got subbed. Perisic played a majority of the game. Most of the time when DeMarco's been coming in, he's been coming in for Bastoni. Only a couple times has he came in from Perisic. Then again, we've only played 6 or 8 games, so take your pick, take your poison how you want to play it. But I'm not writing DeMarco off yet. But at this point, I'm going with Perisic because he's the more solid and guaranteed player.
Fair enough. I'm going over to Mo next, man. We approach this game needing 3 points. How would you go into it? I can see that Dzeko is starting up front there, but most of the headlines are saying that we're looking at Correa getting a start finally. What are you saying?
I always believe Sky. If they change it in the next 24 hours, I'll believe them. But for some reason, these guys know what they're doing. And if they say Dzeko and Martinez, that means Correa has something. I just want to say, I want to respond to Christian really quick about DeMarco. And I just want to say something that I saw. I think DeMarco is better as a left center back, not because of his defensive ability, but because the wing backs, they need to be there in every time we do a counterattack. And as Christian said, DeMarco is not that fast player. DeMarco is the by-the-book fullback that plays in a 4 in the back, goes up when needed, but he needs a winger in front of him like Boga. Like somebody quick, someone quick. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the Sassuolo lineup. They need someone quick. But Perisic is an actually inverted winger to be a fullback. That's why a lot of people last year actually criticized Perisic for his defensive. But then offensively, the guy can dribble 1-on-1. because he's a winger by nature. But DeMarco is never going to dribble a guy like what Perisic do to the line. He needs an early crossing, and an early crossing for a team like Inter, who are supposed to have position, will come from a center back if you play three in the back, not from the winger who is up all the way to the line. And we saw the difference between an experienced Darmian, who played five in the back a lot as a wing back and as a center back, how Darmian shifted his play to be always available in the counter attack. And everybody from Inter is like, oh my God, this is an amazing player, because he always goes forward. That's why I think DeMarco as a wing back in this plan, he doesn't look great from the beginning of the game. Maybe at the end of the game when he plays for Bastoni, as Christian said, he looked his best in an Inter jersey.
Okay, fair call. I'm going over to Bruno, and there's 17 people joining us now, so make sure you like the video and let us know if you are new as well. Thank you for joining us. Bruno, with our lineup there, it is international break next. There's no reason to rest anybody, especially the defenders, Barella, Brozovic. Are you still looking at making a change in midfield or anywhere else, or are you happy with what you see on the screen?
Look, I got to just turn around and say Perisic is a winner. And in the last 2 seasons, he's won 4 trophies, I think, the treble with Bayern Munich and the Scudetto with Inter. You cannot compare that to DeMarco. DeMarco does not fit the mold that Perisic has. And the progression we've seen Perisic in the last 12 months, especially from when he returned from Bayern Munich, it could have went downhill, but it went real uphill real quick. Yeah, he's a winger, but he's reformed defender, and his physicality is phenomenal, especially when you got someone like Bastoni. And people will criticize me for my next comment in regards to Darmian deserves to be there. He is a rock when it comes to defense, and he's a rock in the sense of he might not be a Skriniar, De Vrij, or Bastoni, but that's why he's not a centre back. But he's got that presence there, and he's got that force, right? So I would honestly say let's start him. He needs more time. You know, we're spoiled for choice in this position. We've got D'Ambrosio, and as well as that, we've got Dumfries. Dumfries is yet to fill the shoes of Hakimi. We're not asking him, but right now he can't even tie the shoelaces up. He's not adjusted to the Serie A as of yet, which is highly expected. I threw it to the guys. I threw it in one of our last live streams. That we created a graphic. You compare to Inter this time last season to where Inter are now on the table. We're doing better, and we're doing better because although the spine of Inter in Lukaku was taken out, we've replaced him with a Dzeko, which has reformed our entire game. Now, I would like to see potentially Satriano make a debut in the Inter squad coming very soon. Probably not this game, but potentially the next.
He has made his debut though in Serie A this season. Hasn't he come off the bench?
On the pitch.
You want to see him start? You want to see him start a game?
I want to see him start because a team like Sassuolo, we can really afford. You'd expect with this Inter squad, we can really afford to start him, especially if you've got Martinez there, or Dzeko, or Correa next to him, because we've got depth in the midfield. And if it turns to shit, eventually you can always sub him off. But we need to build this guy's confidence up. He is a fantastic player. We got to stop relying on this. But that lineup to me looks absolutely perfect. I'm hoping Barella might pick up a niggling injury that stops him from entering the Nation Cup semi-final.
The Pepe Marotta special.
and Martinez and Correa have not recovered from last international break. We've seen the fatigue in these boys. And we just need – it's starting to get a bit much. That's my opinion. Anthony, I want to throw you a question because you're asking all the questions today. Is it, in your best thoughts, is the front two, these two here, Martinez, Dzeko, the best two to start with?
Until Correa gets some chemistry with Martinez, then yeah, it probably is. But in terms of physicality and like minutes and whatnot, you can't keep burning Dzeko out like this. I think he's playing a little bit too much. And you're asking him to start again. Another 60 minutes without a goal and an exhausting performance under his belt. I know we've got international break soon. That might be the only reason he gets a nod here. If Correa is fit, you've got to start Correa. And I'll go over to Christian Rivas to get his thoughts on that before we look at the Sassuolo lineup.
So touching on Correa and Lautaro, they do have some chemistry because they do play the national team together. I mean, it's just a different tactic opposed to what's used at Inter. My thing is I don't want to burn Dzeko out because Dzeko is much older. I mean, I'm 33 myself, so I'm gonna tell you, like, he gets tired. You know, and the thing is, we have a long season, and this calendar is completely trash. I don't know what FIFA and UEFA and CONCACAF and Combo were all thinking, but Jesus, man, like you're trying to stuff way too many games, and then they're talking about a World Cup every 2 years, going with the Euros every 2 years. No, like these players are getting burnt out. You're gonna start seeing players get hurt and hurt and hurt more often. A lot of the big teams are going to suffer from this. I don't think it's fair.
Yeah, fair call, man. I'm going to go over to a couple of comments before moving to the Sassuolo lineup. So thanks for stopping by, Eric. It's appreciative. Ricardo as well. I'm not too sure if I've seen you here before, so welcome if you are new. Indrohari says Damian, DiMarco have their limitations in one-on-one, I guess. Midfield and attackers should offer choices for them to link up. Something against Shakhtar was lacking. Yeah, I would agree. But like Correa coming in, he did show like that keeper, man. That old keeper at Shakhtar put on a clinic in the last 5 minutes to keep us out of goal. It's a pity we didn't pressure him a little bit sooner. It's good to see you here, Josh. And Harry, he goes, "What's up, guys? Let's win this one. Can't stay for the live video. All good, man." And I just wanted to give this dude an acknowledgement because I've seen your name on Twitter about 300 times in my life, but it's the first time I'm seeing you here on YouTube. So thanks for joining me, my bro. I see you. Sassuolo is tough. Do you have something to say, Bruno, before I move on?
Can I just throw it to you guys? Is that wing where Perisic, DiMarco, are we more vulnerable on that wing because Bastoni advances so far up the field sometimes? And when you do that, you're leaving a lot of pressure on your wing backs in DiMarco and Perisic, and that's why we're a lot more critical because there was a comment, I don't know where it was, where it says one-on-one, we're not, those Damian and DiMarco aren't the best, but Damian, the issue is he's got Skriniar who's there to back him up, whereas Bastoni's pushed so far forward, you're watching him trek back while DiMarco's losing his defender. Is that an issue we're going to see?
Well, my thing is, if you don't mind, Anthony, I think Perisic is good at covering that because defensively, Perisic is slightly better than DiMarco lately. Again, the thing is when DiMarco presses forward, he doesn't track back because he doesn't have that pace that Perisic has to help cover for Bastoni. But I've been hearing people say that Bastoni hasn't been doing well lately. I don't know if it's the Conte hangover or what, but I don't think he's been bad, but I don't think he's been as great as he was before. So I don't know if Mo maybe feels some sort of way about that, but I know in the group chat online, Franco and them have been saying for a while that Bastoni just isn't as good as he was last year. So I don't know if any of you guys have any comments towards that.
I agree with you totally. I think Bastoni, in my opinion, he grew up from being the young prospect to being overconfident. I saw that a lot. Last game when the right winger of Shakhtar escaped from him and he grabbed his jersey, it was an overconfident that this ball is never going to pass me and I'm going to get the guy, but the guy was faster. And I've seen this in the league. He's overconfident, and that's why this side has been vulnerable for us. Skriniar is a Skriniar guy. Like, this is the best defender, in my opinion, now, one-on-one in Europe. There's no one better. But Bastoni, he's not bad, but he's not the 8 out of 10 last year. He's a 6, a 7, a 5 sometimes.
He won the Scudetto for Inter and the Euros. His ego at the moment is going to be massive. So that can play a part on someone's shoulders who's immature as well. Because as a player on the pitch, he may be fantastic, but his age, it's phenomenal how young he is and what he's achieved. So this is where maturity comes to it, and he looks the rest of the team, other Barbarella, he's like, well, I won the Euros. What have you guys won? You know, so that could start to play a part as well, and that's where Inzaghi needs to become a bit firmer and be like, look, all right, you need to drop down a couple of pegs, or as Ranocchi is starting.
Honestly, with
I wish.
Bastoni, we've
I would
we've
start DeMarco, guys. I would start DeMarco.
definitely not, in my opinion. I
I
would
would.
say that the Bastoni start.
No. If
Bastoni,
Bastoni is not gonna play, that's what I mean.
Oh,
If
right,
Bastoni is not gonna, I'm not gonna start. To be honest, D'Ambrosio, DeMarco before I play Ranocchia. That's my opinion.
Ranocchia is more of
Bastoni-
a center back, though. You're not going to play him out wide. He doesn't have the pace to play out wide.
He can only play in a back three, really.
Yeah, he's going to play in
anyway.
the middle. He's not going to play on the other spots.
You do see how much we've changed our attacking approach on the left-hand side last season to this season. Like Bastoni does not have that link up and that run with Lukaku. We were skipping that entire midfield with the whole Bastoni-Lukaku link up. Bastoni was looking like maybe 1.5 to 2 points better every game than he was last season, primarily due to his attacking link up as well. In regards to what we were talking about before, which now seems like a while ago, I don't think that it's going to be a problem on the defensive end in transition because unless I'm mistaken, Inter don't concede goals on the transition. We are mistake prone. Mo will be able to probably remember it better than anyone. Do we concede many goals on the counter-attack recently? I can't remember.
No.
A lot of the time is when, not just this season, last season, the one before that, and I swear to God, under Spalletti, when we let the team have the ball and we absorb pressure, there is only a certain amount of mental fortitude we could collect before someone makes a mistake. I don't remember us conceding many goals on the transition.
We don't concede on the counter-attack. We actually don't have the ball. Statistically, we don't. We're the 9th in ball position in the league. So statistically, we are the team who playing counter-attacking. It's the other way around.
Yeah, but the pressure, statistics mean nothing unless you're actually watching the fixture. And the pressure that they might have the ball, but Inter have been known to let them hold the ball rather than push and pressure them into making that mistake or that bad pass. Whereas against Atalanta, Inter just sat back and let Atalanta play. And it's a terrible tactic. Statistics might say one thing, but when you're watching the game, the reflection of how the squad is performing is completely different. And you just, like you said, Ant, we can't let teams hold the ball. It's not the counter-attack they're getting us on. It is when we give them freedom and we give them too much respect, because that's exactly what it is.
Before we move to Sassuolo, I want to say something about what Bruno was just saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's not tactics. I think, in my opinion, in the last 3 games, and I said that on Twitter and people didn't like it, Inzaghi got out-coached by the opposition's coach in the first 30 minutes. He came to the game not prepared. In Fiorentina game, we did not know who to mark, and I said that, and we talked about this in the group chat. There was nobody around their midfield that knew who to mark, where to run, where is the cover. Like Antonio Conte always came to games where the shift, the players marking is absolutely brilliant. We didn't do that in Atalanta. Fiorentina, maybe we recovered in Fiorentina second half. Maybe Atalanta, we recovered second half. But first half, it's not that we sat back. We just couldn't get the ball forward. Every time a replay came, the ball went back to Atalanta because we didn't have any options going forward, and that's tactics. And us coming back on the like Atalanta, we tried to get the ball from them in their half, and we couldn't. And that's tactics. Against the Derby in the Champions League, we couldn't even get we couldn't even get like one marking right. They always had that extra guy in the midfield free to pass to, and that's tactics. So it's not by choice, I guess. It's just in the first hit. Inzaghi is really good in turning the game in the second half and reading the other team, but after the fact that this is happening, and that's what I'm seeing in the last 3 games.
Yeah, fair enough. We're going to have to be slightly better than we have been recently to dominate this game, albeit no matter what, we should still be able to come away with 3 points, although it's not like we can sit here and say that's a guarantee. So regular duties for Consigli, Moldo, Chiriches, Ferrari, and Rogerio at the back for Sassuolo. Fratesi starts as a deep-lying midfielder. Lopez in the middle with Juricic playing a little bit more advanced. Berardi, Borga make up the wingers, and Raspadori is up top. Giacomo Uno Di Noi is going to have his worst game of the season because he doesn't want to score against Inter. But you never know. It could be one of those things where he scores 2 goals and we advance our payments. And yeah, we've seen it before, Christian. We've seen it many, many times before. It also screams Berardi screamer from outside the box, a shot that he wouldn't nail against any other side for 17 match days. Jeremy Borga is going to get behind our fullbacks every single time, and Juricic is going to turn into a prime Wesley Sneijder on the ball. That's my opinion.
I like Boga.
Oh, I like Boga too. Boga is intense. He's
cool.
intense. So it's gonna be difficult. So I'm gonna go to Christian first and Mo second. Besides Boga, what do you like about Sassuolo, and do you think we'll be able to contain him, Rivas?
Yeah, I like Boga, of course, dude. I've liked how he's played for a while now, but Raspadori is still nice. I think he's developing good. We talked about it before where I think he should stay there for at least one more season and continue to develop just so we don't go fork out money and get a player that's not fully developed yet. I think he'd be a nice addition next season if we could get the right ownership in there. But they just have all around Berardi. They have such good players. You know, you can't ever sleep on Sassuolo. They're a very good team.
Yeah, fair enough. Mo, over to you next. Where are the threats going to come from? Who do we need to watch out for? How do you expect we are going to suffer?
Djuricic between the midfield and the defense, like every team that plays that plan with a number 10, we just struggle with the number 10 who we don't know who's going to pick him up. Is it one of the defense or Brozovic who's trying to cover for the other two midfielders? And that's what I see the threat. Apart from Berardi and Boga, but I see the struggle is when the ball is in front of our defense with the number 10 Djuricic.
Yeah. Well done. Bruno, wrapping it up before we move on to prediction, what do you like about Sassuolo? And you know what, you might as well carry that over and give us the first prediction of this game.
Look, I think Sassuolo are not to be slept on. Mo touched on it earlier. They're not in the best of form. But when you look at this team is consisting of a lot of individual talents. And as soon as that chemistry links, mate, they're going to be strong and they're going to cause problems. This week, I can't see them causing too many problems, but look, Consigli, I see him having a blinder, as goalkeepers generally do. But overall, I'm loving the front four at the moment. I'm loving the Raspadori, Djuricic, Berardi, and Boga front four because you can never really predict where your shot's coming from.
And just remember, they've still got Scamacca on the bench. This is just their starting lineup, so he's going to be a big
exactly. So I was literally about to say, like, with those four, you don't know who's taking the shot, and then you bring, and if they're falling behind, well, Fratesi's coming off and Scamacca's coming on, so you've got a front five that you're struggling to keep tabs with. Overall, I'd be quite disappointed if I see us dropping points here, but I wouldn't be surprised if, like you said, a Berardi screamer from outside the box catches Inter off guard. I say 3-1, just because I think there's a lot to prove, and we saw what happened last time in the Champions League when Inter lost to Real. The motivation, they came back and they put 6 past Bologna. This isn't Bologna, but at the same time, the fixture we had against Shakhtar is going to cause a fire in the belly of these players, you'd hope, and I can see them putting 3 on the board, hopefully by half time.
I like that, man. Oh, that was a nice prediction, bro. I love you.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Over to you next.
I'm just gonna say I'm expecting a 2-2 between both teams, even though I'm hoping for a 3-1 like Bruno. If we score early, I think we'll win it but I think if we don't score, we're just gonna suffer.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go 1-1. Raspadori or Berardi to score, and I think that we do score first, though. I think Lautaro or whoever starts, either Dzeko or Correa, will be a forward that gets the goal. Christian Rivas, Lord Nostradamus, tell us what we want to hear or not.
A part of me says that we win 3-2, but the other half of me is like, nah, we're going to blow it in 2-2.
Yeah. Fair enough. When you're pessimistic, I'm not that optimistic, but that's all right, man. We've seen some stranger things. We've seen some stranger things, man. So thanks to the 16 people.
I just think everyone's burnt out, bro. Like, honestly.
Yeah, man.
Everyone's burnt out. And the thing is, it's not going to get any better because half our team is all starters on international. So is it really going to get much better? And then you look at the next month, and you're just like, is there even a single day where they get 4 days rest? No, everything's either 2 days or 3 days till the next match. So,
fair enough. Yeah. I get it. All right, gentlemen, thank you to all of my guests for coming on today. Bruno, Christian, Rivas, and Mo. It was enjoyable. Thank you to everyone in the chat. We see you. We appreciate you. From everyone here at Inter Worldwide, Forza Inter.